Hello, this is Dowsar, aka Marsar. I decided to do a base tour video of my current RimWorld game just because it seems like there's not much of that out there. I don't think Let's Plays really work for this game because 20 minutes or an hour of RimWorld, yeah, it maybe boils down to 5 minutes of decent content. So here's my base tour. Just to give a quick intro slash disclaimer, I'll throw up my mods while I do that in case anybody's curious. This is my first video in years and production values are going to be low. I don't have the best mic. I'm not using any special software or anything, so apologies if you find it unwatchable. Some of you probably also think I have the annoying voice trait. Sorry about your luck. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the save. And this should load up pretty quickly. I just had it open. If not, I'll try to put an edit in here, although I don't even know what video editing software I have right now. I might have to go hunt something down. My game is Permadeath, Randy, Some Challenge, which I know some of you will think is maybe wimping out. But I just find with rough or higher, everything's coming a little too fast and it all just kind of blends together. On Some Challenge, it feels like a little more of a story going on, you know? It's a little more manageable, not just for difficulty level, but you feel like you remember what happened from one play session to the next. And it's just overall a more interesting experience for me. So my world is maybe not the most horrific cannibal dystopia on the Rim. It's more of hey, we have several Outlander unions here. Where do I want to go? World map. We do have some pirates. We do have some unruly tribals. And I think I'm currently at war with one of the Outlander unions as well. But overall, it's one of the more civilized worlds on the Rim. And in particular, I'm running, you can see, less of a Nazi hospital and more of a nice hotel where all the neighbors come and visit and they drink at the bar, hang out in the movie theater, shoot some pool, that sort of thing. So just taking a look around here, you can see I'm at what, 12-ish, maybe 13, 12 colonists, and I just recruited Sienna. She's a sister of one of my early-ish recruits, Emmy. Emmy is, you can see, a recovering sex slave. She was adopted, captured, actually she was vat-grown. She was vat-grown into slavery, and sold from hand to hand, and then her escape pod crashed on my planet, and we rescued her. And she's been pretty handy because we picked her up right after our captain died. Our captain at that point was the only one with any kind of social stat. Emmy is highly social. She really improved our bartering and our recruiting and, of course, our relations. You can see I'm using the hospitality mod. I have the guest beds over here. My guests can buy things in their area, which is pretty much just the dining room, guest room, rec room, and this little area where I put some stuff I hope they'll buy. I don't know if they ever actually buy any of my crappy and used clothing and weapons. And they can wander around out here. They can go to the gazebo. So they have their little area that they're restricted to, so they don't go in and buy out all of my neuroatramine or something. Is that what the stuff's called? Neutroamine. Yeah, so they don't buy up all of my neutroamine from my storage or my workshop. And let's see. Got a little hospital going not too long ago. It's a little bit under the mountain. So I'm still in the process of trying to infestation-proof this area. Right now, this is kind of my dummy room. You can see that they chewed through the doors in the most recent infestation. Lots of slime around, but overall it worked as a decoy. You can see I have my incendiary mines here. This is the one they set off, and so it did take them out, not before they tunneled into the hospital and spread the crazy high temps all through the hospital and somewhat into these bedrooms. Ruined my beer, ruined that batch of beer. So most likely I'm going to get some decoy rooms with incendiary mines going up here in this area. Mine it out, look for ores. Though at this point I'm mostly relying on the deep drills for ores, just because there are a lot of good resource caches around here, especially like steel, which I've mined out all the nearby steel. There's probably a little more in these mountains. Really the only thing worth looking for in the mountains are components, and I do have component assembly going pretty strong now too. So let's see. We saw the gazebo. That was just something I decided to build. No walls or anything, just roofed-in dining table. So the point of that for gameplay is another dining table a little farther out to avoid getting that date without a table debuff. I also put a porch on my barn here with a table and the RimWorld butt cushions here. Butty cush. So again, just another table, and then there's also a small bar table down here in my armory. Let's see. I like the RimWorld lights. They use less power. They look better. They are more expensive to build. They cost some plasteel, but I'm not exactly hurting for plasteel, so not a big deal. And they cost more metal too, but again, iron I'm pulling out with the deep drill, and I still find caches in the mountains here from time to time. And let's see. My lone survivor. Excuse me. My lone survivor of my original colonist is Larusa Rink here. So the initial crash, it was Captain Calhoun, Pilot Bowman, who I think we've all seen a lot in our colonies, and Larusa Rink here, the stiletto assassin. And the captain died very early. It was a very early raid. Even on some challenge, she managed to go out and get headshot, which didn't actually kill her. They tried to carry her away. I sent one of our earlier rescuees, Kermit, one of our earlier escape pods. I sent him out to run down the tribal carrying her away, and he did kill the tribal, but found that she was a vegetable, and rather than try to support a vegetable and maybe try to dose her with luciferium or something later, I just had him leave her there and walk away. So I mostly play a low atrocity game, but in that case, it just seemed like the better option. Kermit couldn't bring himself to actually put a bullet in her head, but he left her there to fade away. Bowman, don't remember the exact circumstances, but also pretty sure that she died in a raid as well. And we lost another early recruit, Olaf, who was a tribal. We captured him, and Emmy, our sex slave, our wonderful sex slave, turned him and recruited him. He was an ex-torturer, but on our colony he just kind of took care of the animals and did some building for us. Those might be all of my colonist deaths. I don't remember any other colonists that we lost. Sooner or later I'm going to build a mausoleum here and exhume my colonists from the graveyards, which are mostly full of raiders, and then I'll set up a nice tomb in here with some marble sarcophagi and all that, probably over here. Maybe I'll use my current decoy space for that too, or even expand it down here, although I'll need more defenses on that side if I do that. You can see this is my main choke. Some turrets. I'm not really doing a kill box. It's some challenge. I don't really need that. and it's cheesy, and it's been somewhat nerfed I guess with A17. But I've never really done a kill box. I mean, I do have like a hallway full of traps here. I used to have an incendiary trap here, but the second or third time one of my colonists or animals set it off, I went ahead and unbuilt that. Let's see, yeah. Not a lot of animals left on the map. There was a toxic fallout not too long ago. I have my current crops. I'm going to need to expand these pretty soon, but my current crops, I have like my core rich soil area all walled in and ready to roof off. You can see I have the sun lamps built, but you know, I only roof it in during fallout, and then I tear the roof off and turn off the lamps once the danger has passed. I might roof it in during like a nuclear winter. I might turn on the lamps during an eclipse if it isn't raining. Let's see. Most of my power is geothermal, but I do have a pretty good diversified grid, so that keeps the power coming in. I've got a couple different power batteries over here. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think maybe Colony Manager futzed with some stuff and ended up having all these batteries drain, so I'm letting them top off again. But in general, I have lots of surplus power. You know, and usually I even can leave my scanner on. And yeah, you can see I have switches. Redundant switches. I like to keep my power grid redundant. Let's get into the orders. This power. There you go. So I like to make sure that a zzzt isn't going to take out much of anything. I do have some of my turrets on a single line, whereas it could take them out, and in fact one did. Right here, you can see that. Not too much flammable around here. I did originally have my ground penetrating scanner in this room right up against the wall. It got zzzt and burnt down, which, you know, those are pretty expensive. That was kind of difficult. I'm probably going to rearrange some stuff at some point to make my base a little more fireproof. The only place I put Popper is in my armory here, which has wood floors and some wood shelving, and just to make sure that I don't get any fires down there that take out like my power armor and all that good stuff, all my extra weapons. Let's see, we've had one mechanoid raid. Went fine. In general, the raids are pretty easy to handle these days. I've had a couple of siege raids where they brought in mortars. In fact, this one was captured. That's why it's kind of out of line with the others, just kind of stuck in there. I've got one EMP mortar over here. A18 is the earliest initial test build is out now. I'm kind of hoping to stick with this A17 colony for a little while before I worry about A18, even though it looks like there is some good stuff in there as far as interface improvements and you know, some quality of life stuff, in addition to more stuff that's going to make the game harder. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this A17 build for a little while longer. I'm not trying to get off the planet, but just until I get tired of it. Let's see, try not to start any new projects until I get caught up on some stuff. You can see I went ahead and used carpet for my desert roadways. It does this kind of funny fuzzy thing in the sand. The sand is blowing over the carpet. Here I switched to dark carpet. So I'm using that as roadways just to get people across the map faster if I want them to do some hunting. If a ship chunk comes down, or, you know, a good cargo drop. I'm trying to get some roadways established. Just starting on this side, haven't really done much. But just trying to get some smooth surfaces, you know, for that 100% walk speed. And I think that's probably about it. You can see my colonists. I have two couples. Kermit and Bowman were a couple before Bowman died, so that Kermit wasn't very happy about that. My only real problem pawns are Masahiro here, who is a pessimist, which, you know, if he gets It doesn't hurt if he's hitting on people and getting rejected, or doesn't help any. But he's my moodier colonist. I also have Bison over here, which she has some injuries. Bite scar, old gunshot. Hey, those are easy to fix, right? But she's a prosophobe, so not sure what to do with her. Honestly, with that -10, I don't know. Maybe it would be a good trade-off to go ahead and give her a bionic leg. I'm not even sure what the debuff is for a prostophobe with bionic parts. I'll have to double check that and see if it's worth it. But yeah, and you might have seen there that she has level 20 construction, so she is my godlike constructor. I would like to have her functioning a little better. And she's a psychopath. That's always good, even if she's lazy. Everyone loves a psychopath. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This room is it was my machine shop for a little while for component assembly and machining, but then at that time this was my guest room with the dining table here and guest beds around it. So I built a new guest room, opened this out, and that's when I installed miniaturization. Rather than disassemble my component assembly, disassemble the research bench that used to be over here, all that stuff, I went ahead and enabled miniaturization so I could rearrange my furniture a little more easily there. Some big TVs, big screen, and flat screen that I got from traders, and lots of silver, decent amount of silver here. Probably start doing some more sterile tile. So this is my hospital. You can see I have some planned expansions here. I recently learned that sterile tile actually helps with research, so I don't know how much sterile tile I'd want to lay down in this area, or maybe even make a new research room with sterile tile. Then again, I have very little research to do at this point, just the ship stuff, which again I'm not. I might end up building a ship just with A18 approaching. But yeah, and if I enable EPOE, the organics and cybernetics mod, then that's going to add some more research that I'll need to do as well. I'm also thinking about more joy objects, which mainly for the video game cabinets, the arcade cabinets, and those add both more research and some more production facilities that you would need to do. So that would also be motivation to move these out of here, maybe relocate these cabinets to a more central location to get in some more workbenches. Yeah, and you can see I have lots of animals, kind of a menagerie going here, plenty of Labradors, herd of muffalo, one lone alpaca. I had a herd going for a little while before I picked up some muffalo. And a few wild pigs. I don't let them in the house, but they are trained to haul out in the surrounding areas, so that can be handy for grabbing marble chunks for my stone cutter, at least getting them a little closer to home in this dump here. You can see up here. They brought in some marble chunks, which I go through pretty quickly, and then I have another little chunk repository here, double strand storage here, both in this hallway, and lots of stools. I love using stools to speed up production, and little stockpiles under each of those stools. It's not bringing up the storage. There it is. Yeah, so here we're working on a power armor helmet. We're working on some mortar shells, and continuing to upgrade the clothing. This is going to be, right now I have good clothing going into my armory as well here, so I'm going to actually expand and put some shelves in this area to be more of the wardrobe. So we'll have the wardrobe, then we'll have the armory. Right, so I think that's the high points. Let me know if you have any questions. Comments on my build and gameplay and such are welcome. Comments on production value or whether or not I qualify for the annoying voice trait. I guess, yeah, also knock yourselves out, but I'm already aware of those issues. All right, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks. Bye-bye.